So this is a paper 2 question, question 7. So let's start off with the properties first. Let's not solve the question first, okay? So they say that ABCD is a rhombus. So as you can see, there's a rhombus there in red, okay? And you have EFG is an equilateral triangle, okay? The one in green. And then you have a straight line, DGH, okay? And they're asking you to find angle Y, right? So let's recap, okay? Whenever you see an angles question, always recap on the properties of the shapes that are given to you. They gave you a rhombus, they gave you an equilateral triangle. So rhombus, you know that is actually a slanted square, right? So all the sides are equal. There are two pairs of parallel lines, okay? And opposite angles are equal. The sum of interior angles adds up to 360 degrees, okay? And the diagonals cuts the angles into half. So these are the properties of rhombus that you must be very familiar with, okay? And then we move on to equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle means all the sides are equal, right? That's why it's called equilateral, equal, right? Okay, so all the sides are equal, all the angles are congruent, and the figure has 3 lines of symmetry. So after you recap what the properties are, then solving the question will be a lot easier. Okay, so let's take a look at how to solve this question. So let's focus on the equilateral triangle first. So whenever there's an equilateral triangle, let's read and write. Let's write down all the angles. We know that each side will be 60 degrees. Okay. So now, we know that there's a rhombus there, and since they have given us angle ABC here to be 102, right? We will know that opposite angles are the same. So this is actually a property of rhombus. That's why angle ADC is also 102. Okay, so I'm actually using the properties of the shapes now. All right, so now let's move on. So I actually put the X there, okay, so that it makes referencing easier. So if you see angle GDX, okay, can you see that it's actually angles at a point? Angles at a point adds up to 360 degrees, all right? So we will take 360 minus 102 minus 155, okay, and that will give us 103, all right? So now let's move on. What other angles can we find? Okay, we are trying to find for angle Y now, okay, so we are going towards Y already. So if you take a look at this angle here, because the question says that there's a straight line, so I'm going to use this property to solve the question. I've already used rhombus, I've already used equilateral triangle. Now I'm going to use the straight line property, right? So do you all remember angles on a straight line adds up to how many degrees? 180 degrees, right? So since you have a straight line here, you will take 180 minus 24 minus 60. And that will give you 180 minus 60 minus 96, that will give you 24 degrees. Okay, so we have found this angle here. So anybody wants to help me? Which other angles do you all think you can find? We are very, very close to Y already. Just a few more steps. Do you all want to type in the chat? Okay, thank you very much. DXG, very good job. Okay, so you can find this angle here by finding sum of angles in a triangle, right? It adds up to 180 degrees. So you take 180 minus 103 minus 24, and that will give you 53 degrees. Okay. And if you notice here, can you see that there's an X here? So this means that there's a vertically opposite angle. Okay. This is also 53. And now I'm sure you can find out what the last step is already, right? To find angle Y, can you see that there's a small triangle here? Again, sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So we take 180 minus 60 minus 53, and that will give you 67 degrees. Okay, so you realize I have written down my angles referencing. I've written down my degrees. So do remember to do that as well, okay, when you're solving angles questions.